And we're live again. Hopefully.
In the meantime, Nick has fallen in the top lane in between the tier 1 and the tier 2. Just a great tower dive by EJ the Ghost. Clearly, this guy knows what he's doing on Renekton. Um, that being said, one death isn't the worst thing in the world. If Nick just is able to come back from this and sit pretty and farm slowly, then I think he can do alright in lane, but it's not a great start for UNF's top laner. We do see Mike Beeston coming into the bot lane here. I don't think he'll really be able to do anything. Amber Dragon is also having quite a bit of fun on the Nico, cloning a Krug, a little baby Krug, running at her opponents. Not going to be getting anything done, but, you know, it's a charming little attempt. We will be seeing the Wukong get the bottom scuttle. He did have quite a faster clear than the Xin Zhao. By such a significant margin, it makes me think that the Xin Zhao probably went for a gank in mid lane and I didn't notice it. And it looks like Mike Beeston is going for a gank in the mid lane. He is on top of the Syndra, but really he doesn't have CC at this point and does not have the damage to kill her. So nothing really goes wrong.
Alright, well, I figured out I made it stream just my whole screen, so we will just have my whole screen.
If it works, it works. It looks like the jungler for Elegy is in the bot lane, possibly looking for a tower dive onto the members of Team UNF, but I don't think he's going to get it. It's just a little bit too early in the game for something so ambitious. Um, Nick is trading onto EJ the Ghost. Additionally, doesn't really manage to go anywhere. But Mike Beast is lurking around the top lane, notably. Once again, another kill onto XO King. This guy is really a monster on the Kai'Sa. It is really showing how strong he is on this champion. Um, I honestly thought this bot lane would be in favor of ELG, so I'm surprised. I'm just surprised at how strong UNF's members are looking on it. I know that Amber Dragon has been playing quite a bit of Nico as of late. We see the character pop up quite a lot in scrims, but I didn't expect it that it would be this prominent. We do see a three-man dive come in on Jack Frost in the mid lane. Unfortunately for ELG, Jack Frost is practically unscathed, really unhurt by this interaction. And a matchup that's supposed to be significantly Syndra favored is actually slightly more in the hands of the Rise at this moment. Presently we see Renekton proxying quite hard, which I really like. I love seeing proxies from top laners, especially when they're ahead but can't kill their laner. I think this is the best thing that a top laner could possibly do. It really sets up uh, just his ability to be present around the map. Even this Renekton could be walking towards the Drake right now just because he's got so much lane prio, he could afford to make himself present for this fight. Um, and honestly, I think his team needs it with how far ahead this Kai'Sa is. It looks like he will not be taking that opportunity. He's just appreciating the recall that it has offered him and heading back to his own lane. It looks like UNF will be taking this first Drake without any contestation. And ELG will be playing around the Void Grub, spawning very shortly, just within 20 seconds. Void Grubs have spawned, and three members of Team UNF are present and ready for them. It looks like UNF is going for a gank onto EJ the Ghost to start it off with. We see quite an impressive display of ultimates here. We see the Realm Warp used, followed shortly by a Cyclone and a Slicing Maelstrom. And that is definitely enough to take out the Renekton of Team ELG. Now, we do see three members of ELG coming up in order to contest these grubs, and the Nico was previously present. She does have her Pop Blossom, but she's not there for the fight, and we do see Mike Beeston go down, and these grubs will be going over to the side of ELG. I don't really understand why this Nico left. I guess that UNF thought they were set and ready once they had taken out the Renekton, but they just dumped so many ults on him that they weren't able to fight. And this game, which was initially in a very UNF favored state, is now dead even. That being said, the bot laner for UNF still incredibly ahead. I think UNF is going to win the game off the back of this Kai'Sa. And as I've said it, we do see Starro, the bot laner, or the ADC for Team ELG, go down. EJ the Ghost does manage to cut down Nick, is chased down by Mike Beeston, but I don't think we'll be seeing this Wukong get a kill right now. In fact, I think we're going to see this Wukong go down at the hands of AE Tempest. He does flash aggressively towards EJ, but doesn't manage to catch him. Really just an over-aggressive, desperate play. It really wasn't the cleanest thing for Mike Beeston. Amber Dragon does use Pop Blossom on Shady, catches her out. Jack Frost making this matchup not look anywhere near as bad as it is for Ryze. It could just be that Shady doesn't play the Syndra and doesn't know what he's doing. But either way, Jack Frost is playing this mid lane incredibly well. I thought that mid lane was going to be an issue, but I think this is just a bit of a player difference, honestly. Jack Frost's Ryze is a lot cleaner than Shady's Syndra.
Yeah, this will be a very different game than the last game. But I do think Team UNF is still a bit favored in it.
We do see quite a bit of trading going down on the bot lane here. Currently, the Nico doesn't have Pop Blossom. We see AE Tempest come down. Exo King forced to use the Killer Instinct to escape. Somehow manages to take down AE Tempest and is running down Sorrow, who is also forced to use Transcends oneself, but unfortunately, the ADC of UNF does go down, and Amber Dragon catches out the support. Shady manages to catch a huge shutdown on Amber Dragon, but is killed shortly after. Frost going for a bit of an awkward aggressive flash after cease and assist. I think this Nautilus will be going down. He's going to get cut off by Mike Beeston, but
I think he's too fast with the hooks.
Really think? Maybe, you might be right. Onto this tower? Yeah, he's out.
It does get a reduced cooldown anytime it hits a wall instead of a person.
It's true. I didn't think it would be that. I didn't think it'd be so much, though. Enough for him to escape them completely. A Tempest is lurking in the bush here. It looks like he doesn't realize that there was a ward on his side of the tri-bush. He was seen going into that bush and not seen coming up, so UNF was aware of what the situation was. Amber Dragon going for a cheeky clone of the Kai'Sa. Presently we have two Kaisas attacking the Infernal Drake, I'm sure. Next objective is Rift Herald spawning in a minute and a half. We see a Tempest clearing towards his bot lane, and Mike Beeston clearing towards his top lane. This game is looking a little bit rough for UNF's top laner, because Kennen is not struggling like crazy into the Renekton, but is definitely not having an easy time. And I think a Tempest lurking upwards. I don't know if UNF knows it, or no, I don't know if ELG knows it, but there's a ward in the river bush, is cut down. Nick is aware of the Tempest nearby, and it shouldn't really go down to him. Is happy sacrificing CS and XP to stay alive. That being said, a Tempest still lurking around the top lane. He's been top for, I mean, almost coming up on a minute now, and he hasn't really cleared into his red. He's really looking for Nick, but he's not going to get him. UNF's jungler, Mike Beeston, just recalled 30 seconds away from Rift Herald now. UNF has a little bit better tempo, I think, in preparation for this Herald. A Tempest just sitting on it, over 1,000 gold, just barely. It's not a great look. I feel like Mike Beeston is just going to be so much stronger than him for this fight here. That being said, he is sitting on 2 control wards, so it could be that some of his gold went maybe not towards making himself stronger. I feel like 2 control wards is a bit too much to have in your pocket at one time as a jungler. Yeah. But we'll see if it pays off for him.
It looks like they're going to go for a pick on that Renekton, and then they should head down for the Rift Herald. Or a recall, and they just decide to stall it. I'm surprised they don't go for the Rift Herald play, seeing that the Syndra teleported bot lane. Seeing the Zen's out there, they should force it, right? Yep, they do.
Yeah. And we do see the ADC's trade in the bot lane. Syndra does use her teleport to go down, but honestly, it's quite wasteful. I feel like the life of UNF's ADC is not worth the whole Rift Herald, which UNF is taking for their trouble.
And it does give them feats.
Mike Beeston is in the bot side jungle of ELG, and it looks like ELG is aware of it. Sorrow is keeping an arm's length away, and we do see the bottom tier 1 go down on the side of ELG. That being said, Renekton did manage to take his turret first, so I guess not really a consolation prize for that, just because feats are already on the side of UNF and they took away the first turret gold.
Oh wow.
Amber Dragon hits a big Pop Blossom. 2 members of ELG do go down. Amber Dragon goes down for her troubles, but Exo King is able to kill, I think 3, no. Yeah, I think 3 that fight. No. The Rise gets a double kill. Close, no cigar. A Tempest catches out Jack Frost. Does manage to cut him down. Mike Beeston down. A little bit of an unfavorable situation. Will also be going down at the hands of the jungler of ELG. Unfortunately for ELG, they did also lose their bot tier 2, but it's a nice consolation. This game is honestly incredibly close for how action-packed it's been. Presently, ELG is like 500 gold ahead. It's such a slight lead that I don't think it matters that much. And that gold lies in the jungler and the top laner. I'd say primarily the jungler, though Mid lane is also ahead. The Syndra is doing a little bit better than Rise, but that's just because she's been able to roam and get shutdowns quite effectively, which I feel like the Rise should be more capable of doing, but it just goes to show uh, Shady's macro intelligence. The next Drake has spawned, and ELG is present for it. Looks like they're not starting it just yet, but they have found both of UNF's bot laners out in the mid lane. Exo King is able to outplay and kill ELG's ADC. Unfortunately, the top laner versus ADC dilemma has come up, and we do see UNF's incredibly ahead ADC cut down by the top laner ELG. Mike Beeston comes in just a little bit too late, hits a great knockup on the whole NA team, but he doesn't really have teammates to follow up with it. Jack Frost is present, but gets cut down and chased down as well. It's really a trickle of UNF players versus the combined team efforts of ELG. They just played this fight out a little bit better, honestly a lot of it better, and they ran away with it. ELG now has a 2,000 gold lead, and this game is looking more and more in their favor.
Yeah, after that last fight, it definitely looks like Team Elegy is pulling away. So Team UNF will have to do something here to get the game back within reach.
Otacon has spawned. We see 3 members of Team UNF already present in the bot lane. Like Beeston just whacking away at Vision that's in the area. It doesn't look like either team really wants to be going for it right now. Tempest is even on the top side of the map. Presently, both top laners have TP. This should be a 5 versus 5 fight for this Rift Herald, which the previous Drake was a 4 versus 5, I believe. ELG was just a little bit more locked in and ready to go. And both teams have a pretty full vision of the area. Where there is a word for UNF, there is a word for ELG, except in their own tri-bush. None of the members of ELG have control words, so I think that, as I say that, the Nautilus just walks out of spawn, or walks out of the fountain with 2 of them. So it looks like this Otacon fight will be happening very shortly. Unfortunately, Exo King is really far away from it. I think UNF really needs to play around their ADC if they want to win the fight. And Mike Beeston is forced to expend Flash before the fight even starts. Both teams have exchanged a little bit of poke. Nothing too serious has come from it, except for the Flash usage of UNF's jungler. Nick did TP to the objective, perhaps a little bit hasty. Mike Beeston once again getting caught out on the objective. Health cut down even further. Not what you like to see. Amber Dragon, very cheeky, manages to catch out the Syndra, uses Pop Loss, and the Syndra Zonya's it, and she does go down in the end. Very fantastic play from the support of Team UNF. Now, Mike Beeston does go in with the Cyclone, manages to knock up a few members of the opposing team, cuts down EJ the Ghost. In the meantime, the ADC of ELG cuts down the top laner of UNF. Sorrow is going in, but can't go in enough. A Tempest follows, but is once again killed by just the sheer numbers of UNF. This is almost like an opposite of the previous fight, where the members of ELG are just dying one by one. And UNF comes out of this with only one death and Thornbound Otacon.
Yeah, that was very good play from Exo King there. He was able to really space and keep distance, and was able to keep them off of him long enough to where he just shred the entire enemy team.
This guy really is quite good on the Kaisa. I think if UNF just plays around him, then they're going to win every team fight they have, or they partake in. Speaking of team fights, Baron Nashor, 1 minute away. The next Drake, Mountain Soul. Well, it will be a Mountain Soul, but it's not Soul. This next Drake is additionally 1 minute away. 30 seconds now if monologued long enough. And we see Jack Frost in the top lane. The Rise does have TP up, and the Renekton also has TP up, actually. Nick was the only one of the top laners that used it for that Vs fight. Looks like it came in handy. Just because of the results. And Drake has spawned. Is now crawling into the pit, and 3, almost 4 members of ELG are present and lurking in the bushes. The Drake has been started. UNF has vision of it. And 4 members of UNF are lurking around the pit. Jack Frost looks like he's stepping away, maybe preparing to TP over the fight. Renekton is recalling and then TPing in. Jack Frost TPs in immediately. The Drake has shifted a little bit more in favor of Team UNF while the Renekton is waiting in spawn. The Renekton is now TPing in, but he's a little bit too late. The Drake has already been taken. Now a fight is being forced. Ults used left and right. We see Nick go down, and additionally, the top laner and the jungler of ELG gets cut down. Amber Dragon shortly follows. Jack Frost does a boatload of damage, manages to kill Shady. Exo King is now following up on Jack Frost's engage, and it cleans up the fight. A really clean fight from Exo King there. Was really able to space himself away from his opponents, and once Jack Frost was able to take all the cooldowns of ELG, Exo King just cleaned house afterwards. Really excellent play on this Kaiser.
Yeah, the fact he was able to survive the 1v1 into the Renekton there, and then re-enter the fight just to turn it around was very good thought.
And this game still feels so even. It's been very flip-floppy. Just a few minutes ago, ELG was 2,000 gold ahead. Now we have UNF 2,000 gold ahead, and I'm sure after the next team fight, it'll be something more even. Baron has spawned. Unfortunately for UNF, Exo King is not there for it. Fight could be forced reasonably. Syndra's in bot lane. She does have TP. EJ the Ghost takes a little bit of a poke from Jack Frost. Not enough to really be notable, but it's what I've chosen to talk about. Mike Beeston does not get caught out this time around. He does have Flash up once again. We'll see if it's forced before the fight starts.
We will be going into this next team fight with 10 ultimates available. So every champion does have their ult ready.
Cease and assist. Jump by Mike Beeston. Nothing really comes from it. EJ the Ghost and A Tempest are lurking in the topside river bush, just praying that one of the members of UNF will wander up and meet their fate. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they realize that it won't happen. Mike Beeston, once again, just so far forward. It looks like his team will be TPing in with the Rizal. A great Pop Blossom from Amber Dragon. And EJ the Ghost just barely surviving. Finally gets cut down by Exo King. Additionally, Exo King finds his way to the Nautilus. and the damage from this Kai'Sa is just so much that I don't know if ELG can win the fights anymore. Kai'Sa is just so well protected by her teammates, just great engages by Jack Frost and Mike Beeston, that the Kai'Sa is really able to shine. We do see Syndra cut down Mike Beeston, and XO King has to play very safe here. He's quite low. If he gets hit by really anything from either of his opponents, he's going to die. We do see a great snipe by XO King just with the Void Seeker. Does not manage to kill Sorrow, but I think he should be really quite happy with what he was able to achieve there. UNF didn't take the Baron. Unfortunately, it's only on 3 of their members, but it should be enough for them to push, maybe take a few turrets. I don't think this is going to be a push to end. I think if UNF plays it well enough, it can be, but just by the nature of their comp, it's a little bit harder to dive into turrets as they might like to do. UNF is shoving their mid lane super hard. A Tempest is almost looking like he's going to get caught out here in the bot lane. It looks like UNF is aware of his positioning. Jack Frost does find him. I don't think the Xin Zhao has the damage to kill this Rise, especially not with 4 members of UNF lurking around. Even Nick was there to follow up. When we see EJ the Ghost go in on Amber Dragon, Pop Blossom is expended, followed by a Slicing Maelstrom. Several members of ELG are quite low, but not exactly dead. Jack Frost manages to TP into the backline and catch 2. Shady getting great use out of the Zanyas every single fight. Unfortunately, he's immediately killed every single time he comes out of it. And this is a great 4 for nothing for UNF, really just setting themselves even further ahead, 5,000, almost 6,000 gold ahead now. And yet another Mountain Drake. That will be Soul on the side of UNF. I almost feel like the way that this is going, it's gonna end up being Elder Drake, which wins UNF the game. It's very drawn out, and I feel like UNF isn't doing enough with their Baron to push to end with the next Baron, which is 3 minutes away. I guess we'll see what the neutral game brings us over these next 3 minutes. I do expect to see this top tier 1 fall. I wouldn't be surprised if the tier 2 were to go down as well. UNF does seem to have pretty good awareness when it comes to grouping to take down a tier 2. Their team is really good at sticking together when it comes to turret objectives. Maybe a little bit better than Epic Jungle Monsters. Amber Dragon is a cheeky blast cone in the mid lane. It's very clear she has a lot of fun on this Nico character. She gets quite a bit of joy out of it, just based off of what we can see her inherent glamoring into.
Alright, well, it looks like Team LG is looking for the engage here.
And they do find it, however, the Cyclone from Mike Beeson, just not enough to keep himself alive. It was a pretty solid engage, but without Exo King there, UNF really can't win these skirmishes. I think Exo King does manage to find Shady, dodges the Syndra stun, and once again Shady dies straight out of Zanya's. Meanwhile, Nick and EJ the Ghost are duking it out in the bot lane. Traditionally, Nick loses this, and this time around we see Nick lose this. However, EJ the Ghost will now face the wrath of Exo King. Gets hit by Void Seeker after Void Seeker, but he's determined to be not worth chasing. Instead, Exo King, Jack Frost, and Amber Dragon are skirmishing it out with 3 members of ELG in the mid lane. One does go down. An A Tempest is incredibly low and incredibly vulnerable, but not on a ward, so UNF will not be taking him down. And just like that, 3 minutes have flown by. It is about 20 seconds until Nash, and UNF is lurking towards it. The vision setup on the side of ELG is honestly very fantastic. They're able to see everything going around around the pit. Unfortunately, UNF is now coming in and they're able to bully the vision out. I don't know if that sounds kind of wrong, like not inappropriate wrong, but like kind of weird to say wrong. Yeah.
I don't know, bully the vision.
I don't know. Maybe when you say it, it sounds a little less strange. It's just weird coming from my own mouth. I don't know. Anyways, UNF, all 5 members present. They have caught up 3 members of their opponents. Nick goes in with a slicing maelstrom, barely manages to stun Sorrow. Jack Frost follows up on it. Exo King catches out the Syndra with the Killer Instinct, and A Tempest also falls. It looks like UNF might not even go for this Baron. They're really pushing aggressively for this mid-tier 3, and they do get it. Like I mentioned before, they're very great at coming together when it comes to taking down a single turret. It looks like they might just be pushing to end tier. I feel like Amber Dragon probably isn't aware that Nico's cannon cheese recently got patched out of the game. However, she does manage to pop loss on 3 members of ELG. None of them go down, but one of the turrets protecting the base does go down. I expect to see EJ the Ghost going down. Exo King's damage is just enough. And we do see the second turret fall, protecting the Nexus, and this is game 2 of this 3-game set, taken once again by UNF. The shining star of this game really was Exo King. I think he performed exceptionally on the Kai'Sa, and I think Jack Frost as well did a great job in several fights setting up the Kai'Sa. He was really able to go in with his portal creatively behind the enemy team. It seems like UNF was able to do enough damage, not to like instantly kill their opponents, but to get them low enough that Jack Frost was able to follow up and kill them. Additionally, the chunkiness of the Rise really allowed him to take a beating so that the Kai'Sa could shine after he takes that beating. I really liked how they all played this game. Welcome, Mike Beeston, to the call. I don't know if it was said earlier, but we will be saying goodbye to Jared and hello to Mike Beeston in this casting call for this third and final game.
Alright, with that I will bid my adieu. Great games, Michael.
Thanks so much. We tried really hard to win, and I thought we cooked up some good stuff. So